I'm very new to From Software games, as I was introduced to the Souls-like genre through Elden Ring, and Elden Ring hooked me into the whole Souls-like franchise, making Elden Ring probably one of my favourite games. And as Elden Ring is one of my favourite games, I made a video talking about all the funny, goofy parts of Elden Ring that I love. And someone who was a tad angry told me to play the older Souls games. So, me, the most innocent and holiest Souls player there is on the planet, I took his advice. And now it's on the list of one of my favourite games of all time. Jesus Christ. This game is harder than Elden Ring, and I'm not a person to rage very often, but this game had me goddamn close. But that doesn't mean I don't love this game. Dark Souls 1 is incredible, and one of the funnest games I've played in a long time. Definitely hard, but fucking amazing at the same time. A lot like Elden Ring. However, I feel Elden Ring is a bit different, because of how Dark Souls and Elden Ring lay out their difficulties. Like, in Elden Ring, almost all the time you can just walk straight to the boss without having to fight any enemies. Whereas in Dark Souls, you almost always have to fight, jump, or dodge around like 30 to 50 enemies every time you just want to fight one boss. And that's not the only difference. Like, for an example, the starting bosses in Dark Souls 1 had a lot more of a simple attack pattern, which was a lot easier to learn than, like, Margit the Fell Omen, for an example, which had me replaying that fight several fucking times, and that was a lot harder. And that's not me saying the Dark Souls 1 boss fights are easy, because they're not easy, I can tell you that much. But what I can say is that Elden Ring boss fights typically feel pretty unfair. Well, not all of them, just Melania and Malekith, for example, as they throw so many attacks in the matter of like so fast that you literally have no time to react, and it makes it feel so unfair.
No maidens. Skill issue.
But also makes it so much more rewarding when you win the fight. And so far in my playthrough, I haven't seen anything like that in Dark Souls 1. I mean, apart from enemies just lying around everywhere. I found travelling around the map far harder in Dark Souls 1, not only because of the bonfire mechanics compared to Elden Ring's, but in Dark Souls 1, some of the weaker enemies are actually strong as fuck and can stun your ass to an oblivion while being able to spam attack you to the point you can't even fucking move. Bonfires in Dark Souls 1 are very different to the Lost Runes and Statue of Marika mechanics in Elden Ring, making Dark Souls 1 harder than Elden Ring. As in Elden Ring, you can just keep attempting to fight the bosses again and again without needing to travel very much. But in Dark Souls 1, you have to travel sometimes long-ass distances while fighting or avoiding enemies each time you die to a boss, making Dark Souls 1 way harder, as you can mess up on your journey to a boss and have to use some Estus flasks, meaning you'll have less for when it comes up to the boss fight, making me think Elden Ring is a bit more of a casual game compared to Dark Souls 1, but definitely still not a casual game, let's be realistic here. The level design in Dark Souls 1 is so pretty, yet dark and fearful compared to Elden Ring's brighter setting. Like, I have to be in an almost pitch black room with the blinds closed if I'm going to play on default settings, so it, truth be told, kind of fits the Dark Souls stereotype of not going outside, let alone touching grass. But I love this game. It's a bit less goofy than Elden Ring, as it's got more of a dark and serious setting. And so far in my playthrough, I ain't seen any fingers lying around, so Miyasaki calmed that one down. Dark Souls 1 has next to no issues for being such an old game. I know I'm playing the remaster, but I couldn't get access to the original, but my point still stands. The game is amazing. And I wish I got hooked onto the Dark Souls games earlier than I did, because I do truly love them. I love the feeling of getting on the game, failing to a boss like 30 times, to then go get a glass of banana, pineapple and apple innocent smoothie, to then come back and fucking shit on the boss. I can't say I'm cracked, or if the smoothie is so good it gives me powers, but I can say with confidence, there is nothing more emotionally rewarding than shitting on a boss you've been struggling for a long ass time. So that brings me to one question. How the fuck do I sin? Because I saw one guy who said he can cure my sins, but I ain't sinned. And obviously, I'm not the one sinning, because I'm the most holiest Dark Souls player. I'm clearly asking for a friend, and, you know, it just seems really far out. Like, I don't even know what. I mean, I really want to just kill people. I mean, no, I'm not. I want to sin. I mean, I really will.